So now I'm going to talk a little bit about the lyrics from End on End. And we'll just go through it from beginning to end, pretty much, the verses to the chorus. This song I wrote during COVID, but it's definitely not about COVID. It's just more about kind of world being topsy-turvy and just kind of feeling like things are spinning end on end. I kind of pictured like, a car wreck, basically, car flipping end on end, and just kind of thinking of like sometimes the world definitely feels like that, where each day is just like spinning faster and faster and out of control. And I kind of wanted to encapsulate that. And I think the first thing that I came up with, anyways, is a bit of that melody and that line during the chorus, which is endless reality. I like the idea of endless reality because it's just like, that's constant no matter what. We're experiencing it. It feels endless for us while we're alive, in a sense. And it's endless in the sense that it's going to keep going on whether we're alive or not. So the end on end part, I thought, just kind of was fun and like maybe a little bit tongue-in-cheek in that part where it's just like we're just tumbling and turning end on end through this reality that's also endless. And it's just kind of like it's like maybe slightly sarcastic or just maybe kind of poking fun at the whole idea of the experience of life, in a sense, too. So that's the general synopsis of that. Let's talk about each verse and part. So verse 1, something's been happening. And I wanted to use that. I use that a lot as a kind of theme throughout the song, because it's just like, it always seems like something's happening. Like there's a new something happening. So it's just like, something's been happening. What is it? I wanted to keep it a little vague. It's nice to do that to kind of build the ability for the listener to have some more imagination around the song. So I like being a little bit vague instead of super on the nose. But sometimes I accidentally am on the nose regardless. So something's been happening. This life is changing. Another day turning, end on endless reality. Another lost season, broken and beaten. Another day burning, endless, end on endless reality. Say my own fucking lyrics. So that's just kind of like looking at just the kind of exhaustion that life can have at times, and just getting beaten down, burning through another day, another day turning, like I said, it's kind of spinning, just seemingly out of your control. Like the days just are flying by, and sometimes just life can be like that, and it can be difficult to figure out how to stop and just slow down. So just kind of recognizing that in the lyrics. Talks about another lost season, broken and beaten. So just hard times, and seeing those hard times end on end too, where it's just like, it seems like those hard times aren't going to end because you just keep experiencing like another thing after another. It can make it really hard to seem like there's something through on the other side of that. So that's kind of just the idea of that. Seems endless, and that's your reality. So then the chorus, something's been happening, again, repeating the same thing, so silently. So it's just like the idea of like, again, things can then build up over time, not just be so sudden. It's just like, so silently things have been happening and changing, and then it becomes this big thing. Sometimes it seems like you're screaming silently for so long, and then it finally becomes a thing. So it's kind of talking about that. And then it says, but the world started bleeding, kicking and screaming. So it's just saying that, all in all, when things happen consistently for so long, silently, and then build to this big thing, it makes the whole world kick and scream and bleed. And there just seems like a lot of that right now for some reason. But there's always something like that. So I try not to focus on that personally, but I like to recognize it. I like to think about it. I like to reflect on it. So let's move on to verse 2. Something's been happening. Sunlight is sailing. Another day turning. End on endless reality. So just kind of signifying a bit of turning away from light. Some of that feeling of helplessness a little bit. The passing of time. That there maybe is some end of that, but what is that end? Is it grim? It seems like it. Another lost season, hopeful believing, another day burning, and on endless reality. So I think I said season. I meant another lost reason, hopeful, believing. So another lost reason, it's just, it's that thing of like you think like what's going on and then you don't. It's just like another lost reason that you had. You thought you had a reason for something and you really didn't, and you're wondering what you're really doing. And that's kind of what that's about. That is what that's about, in a sense. I say kind of a lot because I can't like summarize everything into what I'm trying to say. I can't say all the things of like the meanings around it the way I kind of pull from things. So it's like when I say kind of, it's like I can't say 100%, yes, this is exactly about it wholly. But it's not like it's untrue when I say kind of. It's just that it's not wholly that one thing. But it's annoying as fuck saying that a bunch, so I'll try and just not say too much. So another lost reason, hopeful believing. Just, yeah, again, that that hopeful believing that things are going to get better, and recognizing that we all have that in some regard, whether we're, the type to believe in hope or not. I think that you're probably still going to have some regardless. It's a human condition. And it's not necessarily bad to have. It can be a good thing, as long as it's not futile. But it also keeps the human spirit up. So I think that's important. So again, just a lot of repetition in this song. I think that it's important to kind of keep that going in something like this where it was a bit simpler. I wanted that repetitiveness, a little more poppiness. So then goes to the second chorus, repeat a little bit more of that. We talked about that already. It just kind of summarizes, encapsulates the things of the theme that I'm going for. That's what a chorus should do, I feel. So this comes through the bridge. And this bridge is a bit more of like, kind of like, I wouldn't say begging, but just getting to that point of like feeling like you need to pray for something. You're just like, you need an answer. So I need someone to come onto their sense. I need someone to come onto their senses. Just recognizing that it just seems like there's so many people out there that there's just senseless things going on, and it's so confusing. And where's it coming from? And just needing there to be some sense and needing more people to have some sense. And then asking, won't you come onto your sense? And it really builds at that moment. So it just like really comes to this point where it's just like, please God, come on. Just somebody have some fucking sense. All right, and that brings us to verse 3. Something's been happening. I say that a lot, jeez. My life is changing. Another day turning, and on endless reality. So now it's recognizing, it's like, it's owning it, saying my life. The first time I said that, it was, this life is changing. So I feel like by saying this life, it was kind of recognizing like this life for everybody. And in this verse, it's owning it a bit more, taking it personally for myself or the listener. So my life is changing. Another day turning, and on endless reality. Another lost season, broken, not beaten, no. And that's the thing that I like to do sometimes in my songs, is take it at the end and make it into a positive. I like to kind of take that and turn it around and always provide some sort of juxtaposition to that with the hopelessness. Not always, but a lot of times. So that's what I'm doing here, just recognizing that, and that's repeating that first verse, but taking it and shifting a couple things to own it, and then to say, hey, no, I'm not broken and beaten. Another day burning, and on endless reality. And that's just to have some motivation, some strength, and to push going forward, taking each day in stride. That takes us to the last chorus and the outro, Can't Stop the Bleeding. And that just, I felt like, worked really well at the end of the last chorus. The last chorus, it ends with, but the world started bleeding, kicking and screaming. And then the outro just fades from there, and then can't stop the bleeding, can't stop the bleeding, can't stop the bleeding, no. And I kind of like that repetitiveness with the bleeding, because it's like kind of bleeding out in a sense. It does end a little bit on some hopelessness level of things, but I just really wanted to say can't stop the bleeding. I liked it a lot. I liked the kind of the thought behind that, and the imagery, and just kind of yeah, it just made sense to go that way rather than make it super happy and positive. Everything's going to be fine. It's just more so looking at life in regards of everything bleeds. We're all going to keep bleeding, and we need to just kind of act and do our thing regardless of that. And that's really what that's about. So, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed a little bit of chat on the lyrics, a little bit of chat on the songwriting, and stick around because we're going to do some more videos like this. I'm going to go to another spot, and it's going to seem like it's a whole different thing, and we're going to do another one, and then we're going to do another one, and then if I have enough time, I'll do another one, and then we'll do some other days, and I'll do some other ones, and then we'll get through all of Tune It Out. It's the goal anyways. And I got some new songs that I just recorded on drums. Well, Brett recorded on drums, and I am going to be working on soon. So going to release those in progression of singles, so we can get some music out here sooner than later. Hoping in the next few months to have something new for you, and there'll definitely be plenty of videos about the making of throughout that. So give you a little tease. So check it out.